Hey, welcome back. It's episode 25 of The Loper Show, and Talon Reid is my guest today. Bro, what is up?
My man, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate you.
Now, we are new friends.
Yes.
We actually, now, full disclosure, guys, we met at Sonic Temple in the coolest of all fashions, if I have to be honest with you. Now, I saw you and your family throughout the day, and I was running around doing some coverage of different areas for Danny Wimmer at Sonic Temple. And your little boy, I mean, this guy was just absolutely alive, on fire during Metallica. I mean, I'm a father of four, so, you know.
Yeah.
Kids definitely hold a special place in my heart. And, man, your little boy is so cute. And he was so rad during Metallica.
I know. That's actually a main way we connected. We were on the side stage of Metallica, and I kept seeing Loper, and I was like, I feel like I recognize this guy. And then we kept running back into each other, and I always I had my little guy on my shoulders for a bunch of it, and it was my first Metallica experience, which is crazy, being a Metallica fan as long as I have.
That was the first time, huh?
My first time.
Oh, wow.
I have Metallica tatted on me. And
that was a good time, too, for the first time.
Yeah. It was awesome, honestly. I wasn't sure what to expect, and also to have my son share the experience with me was, it was cool, man. It was definitely a special experience.
So did he know? Did he? Yeah, exactly. Did he know that he was seeing Metallica?
I play Metallica, not all the time, but he knows Metallica, and no, he didn't really know. Now he's running around the house singing for Who the Bell Tolls. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, he was throwing up metal at the show too. It was great.
He knows the songs from being at the show, and I'm like,
I love it.
So it was. I kind of feel bad because I have a lot of shows throughout the months, and we'll tap more back into it. But I briefly discussed at Sonic Temple. I worked with the bands Boulevard Valentine and Escape the Fate and Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. So whenever they're playing, I try to be at as many of their shows or festival experiences as possible. And I can't bring him to everything, obviously.
Right.
And it's sometimes not the right place. Also, he's a baby. He's 2.5. So I'm trying to be okay, a couple times a year.
Well, and it's tough, too, when they're that age, because you want them to be there. But then at the same time, you're like, I don't want them to be there.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a lot of work,
There's a lot of work, and there's a bunch of crazy stuff that we see.
Yeah.
I mean, the opening night at Korn, I was my first time out in the, the GA area, just trying to, see what it was like.
Sure.
And there was gorilla-sized dudes checking 78-year-old ladies, and no. We don't cuss on this, right?
No, yeah.
Okay, no fucks given by these guys.
Yeah, right.
They were I'm just sitting there chilling, and I'd have been more pissed that they knocked over my, my tall boy because of how crazy the prices were out there. And I was like, but no, they came by and took out this old lady, and everybody turned around, and that guy was gone before you could even say anything. So having a little baby out in those things for that much time is not ideal.
Yeah,
so
tough.
I brought them the last day where we were on the side of the stage. He got to see Metallica, get a guitar pick, and have that little
Yeah, when my kids were little, so I would be there literally working the entire weekend, introducing bands, interviewing bands, all of that stuff. And my ex-wife and I, we used to do the show together. So we would have a family member bring, when my oldest son now, he's going to be 22 this summer, but when he was little, 12-ish, 11, we would have a family member bring him out, and then they would hang out for a little while and then take him back. You know what I mean? Because it was just, even at that age, it's tough. But speaking of being young, I mean, people now know you as being a DJ.
Yeah.
You do a lot of EDM and stuff like that. But originally you were a child actor, right?
Yeah, so I was working on Nickelodeon, Disney, ABC Family in my teenage years. I was actually a little bit older of a teenager playing a younger teenager. So a lot of the stuff I did, I was playing a 13, 14, 15-year-old, and I was 18, 19, 20.
Well, that's 90210 back in the day. Remember, they were 45 years old playing seniors in high school. You're like, what planet are we on? Yeah. Are we really going to suspend disbelief this much?
Mine was a little more realistic.
Yeah.
But no, I worked on that, and it's funny because this one show, Victorious on Nickelodeon, that I was on the very first season of that, working with Leon Thomas, who now is #1 R&B artist on the planet. His song Mutt is #1, and we did a show out in Vegas not too long ago, and it's just crazy to see how we were all these kids on this little Nickelodeon, art school locker room bullshit, and then now everybody's literally running Coachella stages, and
that's wild.
My
older kids watch Victorious. That's funny. Yeah,
Leon Thomas messaged me. He's one of the main characters on it, and he I'm on the thumbnail of the 6th episode on Netflix or whatever, and he just messaged me. I was like, bro, I forgot I've known you for decades. I'm like, I know it's weird because I'm 35 now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're still in our 20s. So,
dude. So I mean, I've only known you a short time, but how do you go from being a child actor to not being so fucked up? I mean, you seem pretty normal and you got things under control.
It's because like, okay, so when I tapped in, I was one of my best friends, and I used to tour with them. Drake Bell from Drake and Josh is like my homie a long time. And we worked together a lot. And when I came into the scene with him and Leon and with Jonathan Lipnicki, who was Stuart Little, the kid on Stuart Little, and I have like this whole Rolodex of like me with like the childhood actors, right? And like they were like, I was teenage, right? These kids were in it since they were like 3. So I kind of like intercepted their trauma and their troubles. And I already came from this pretty hardcore industry, you know, doing like the Ozfest and the Warped Tour stuff. And like, I was a teenager doing metal thrashing, you know, so like I had already been exposed.
Were you playing in a band or were you
I was playing
DJing?
in a band. I was a guitarist in a band.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So like, I was already in the Warped Tour scene and doing a bunch of stuff. And that's how I knew the guys from Red Jumpsuit. And like,
so how old are you when you're on tour with Warped Tour?
I was 16 or 17. Yeah, it was like 2006, 2007.
That's
dangerous.
business.
I was a puppy. I know. And like the crazy thing was that was like the high time. Like I remember being backstage with Avenge when everybody like didn't really know who they were, and like me with Matt and Shadows like pushing like me and him both pushing crates together. I was like, I got you, dog. I'm like, I feel your music, bro. And I was like, I think it's gonna be something dope.
Yeah. You're like that backcountry song. I think you're onto something,
pop
bro.
Off or something. You're gonna hit somewhere. You're gonna at least sell out a 1,000-person venue eventually.
Right.
And they're like, no. So it's back then was like really that raw, no cell phones, backstage, like just networking, you know, having tacos with Taking Back and like, you know, over here doing beer bongs, you know. I was underage, so they were actually, we still follow like guidelines. Like they wouldn't let me beer bong off the thing. I may have had some drinks somewhere at some point, but they would do a joke off of, there was a band called The Confession. You know who they are?
I don't think so. No.
So it was one band, like they used to tour with the Used and shit, and they had this like old school tour bus, and they used to do like I do like Pepsi bongs or something, you know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
just some young shit so that no one got in trouble. But no, we kept it fun, and to this day, like I'll run into Adam from Taking Back and be like, it's just funny because they knew me when I was a little kid.
So you go from being on tour to being a child actor,
and then gangster hip hop DJ after that.
So wait, so was it your idea to be an actor? Or were you pushed in that direction?
So basically, I was in Columbus before I came back from tour. We did an East Coast tour with the band I was with, Burning Graceland at the time, and I was just kind of like over dealing with fucking bands, dude. Like I'm on the road dealing with all these assholes that are just battling 24/7, and we can't get anything, you know, in a line. 3 of us do, 3 of us don't. You know what I mean? It was just too much shit, and I'm like, I'd be way further if I wasn't dealing with a bunch of freaking monkeys right now. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, you just got to act cool and disappear. So I came back from tour. I created this music festival called Talon Reid Festival.
Okay.
Worked with Promo West Productions.
Yeah.
I knew a bunch of the guys over there. I was working, when I was a teenager, I worked with Road Under Records on their A&R team, and that's how I got my band to open up for Trivium and like everybody that was on the label back then. I would do A&R when they come in town, and whenever someone dropped out, I'd slide my band. That's how I met Bullet, was doing A&R shit. Like, just
that's awesome.
Always being at shows when I was like 13, 14, and just pushing my band. And long story short, I started Talon Reid Music Festival working with Promo West. The heads were like, dude, we'll give you A&R Music Bar in the basement. And I did stages back to back. I paid for Rise Records, Ferret, and like, who the fuck else was big back then? There was like one other label. I paid for them to have a rep come out, got them a hotel, flight. Ended up having 2 bands get signed, and I had like 20 bands on the bottom stage, 15 upstairs. Everybody had to sell 50 tickets to get in.
Yeah.
Here was the exposure angle. No one made. There was an exposure show. I pocketed all of that and moved to LA. Then literally the next day, it was July 31st. I moved to LA August 1st, 2009.
That's cool.
And I had an acting coach from Disney send me a message and said, if you can get out here and set up your life, I'll scholarship you through my program.
Wow.
And he got me signed to the Screen Actors Guild in 2 months, put on a TV series, was on Greek on ABC Family, and like, then Adrian Brody put me in a Chrysler commercial like 11 months in, and then that was my first like 6-figure thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I was like, Adrian, I owe you a lot. Like, you changed my life. And I found that being a stage performer as a metal guitarist carries into so many other things.
Sure.
Like just being able to handle yourself, controlling shit under pressure, like, you know, and it goes into this. I can act like a metal guitarist. I can act like a 1950s, you know, kid catching a football in front of a Chrysler, and I did that. And then I was like, let's just see what else we can do. And now I'm producing movies and shit.
That's awesome. So is acting still in your blood, or are you kind of
100%?
Yeah.
So the problem is, like, did a bunch of stuff, 10 years, all this, and then I was still like hot in the game right before the pandemic. I just done a Remy Martin commercial with Usher. I was actually the body double and stunt double for the main bad guy in the movie Birds of Prey with Margot Robbie and Ewan McGregor. So I mean, this was all in 2018, 2019, pandemic, right? And like all the music studios shut down, all the acting studios in LA. And I was actually had a random gig on a cruise ship for 3 months and came back, and everything was shut down. So my dad has a multi-acre horse property up in Sunbury, and he was like, dude, come out here, and nothing's really shut down here. And so I came back here and just was racing motocross out at my dad's property, just trying to find something to do that wasn't like, I mean, that was COVID friendly, I guess. And I did that for 6 months, and then he helped me get my music studio started in Dublin.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I ran into Braxton Miller from Ohio State.
Yeah, sure.
And he was like, what the hell are you doing in Dublin? And he was like, you look like you don't belong here. I'm like, I actually grew up here, but no, I'm from LA. And he was like, well, I'm going to show you where like us, like, you know, NFL cats hang out and this and that. So I started like chilling with Braxton, and little does he know I'm like diehard tatted Ohio State. Like I always keep my cool. Like, nah.
Was this when he was still on the team, or this is just after?
This is just in 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's just after he was done. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what I do is I produce movies. I find financiers for movies that want to really break into the industry. And I was like, where are you going right now? Like, what are you trying to do? He said, I'm doing investments. I'm doing this. I'm like, come tap in with this movie production and like business I'm doing. He brought a couple investors in. We flew to LA 2 days later. Literally signed a deal, and I had his name with mine in 120 theaters around the country in less than 6 months.
That's
I told
crazy,
him,
man. Wow.
I was like, bro, work with me. I will put your name in the big screen. Now, what goes on from there? It's, you know, you got to really keep investing and pushing in it. It's not like, okay, $300,000 makes you, you know, a Martin Scorsese or something. Right. You're on a bunch of theaters, and now our movie Private Property is on Hulu. It was #1 for a little bit. Ashley Benson from Pretty Little Liars is our lead, and it's Braxton Miller and Talon Reid, and opening credits, Talon Reid Productions. It's the first film I produced and sold to a major network.
So in your experience, is it with Hollywood in the state of how acting and movies and television is now, do you think it's more with the indies than it is with the bigs? Like the big studios, I mean, of course, are still there, but it just seems that there's so many more opportunities for people to do their own thing.
Yeah, it's like the indies mean more, like, as an artist. But the big ones, they gotta have them. Like, they're gonna be pushing them out. They have a budget for it. And actually, the film industry is like an out for a bigger thing going on for these owners of these studios. Like, they don't really give a shit about, like, they don't care. And right now, most of the productions, I was watching this not a TikTok, it was like some Insta video that Rob Lowe was talking about. And he's like, dude, if we were still shooting Parks and Rec right now, I don't know if you ever seen it.
Yeah, sure.
I've seen a little bit of it, but I just referencing what he said. And he was like, he was one of the other actors, and he was like, where would you think we would shoot Parks and Rec if we were shooting right now? He's like, oh, we'd be shooting over in Istanbul for sure. We'd be 100% in Istanbul, because it costs more to film some actors walking across the lot at Warner Brothers, like just a few of us. It costs more for a couple hours of that shoot than it does to have an entire season shot in Istanbul. Just for a couple hours. It's
just because of like SAG and AFTRA and all of
California State is just out of control.
Yeah,
dude. There's just the taxes. And
excuse me.
They're doing everything to stop filming in California. And the actors, we know it. So it's like, I'm not there for a reason. Like a lot of my boys that left, good friend of mine, Shane West from the movie A Walk to Remember, and he was on the show Nikita. He messaged me when I left and was like, dude, so like, what were you looking at when you were leaving and looking at properties? Because I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. My buddy Lamar Morris from the show New Girl, same thing. He messaged me. He's living in Texas now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no one, like, we all got kids now, and like, not really interested in the drama of California. I can fly in and out for $100 one way.
Wow. Yeah.
from Columbus.
For the last year and a half, I've been between here and Nashville. And in Nashville, I mean, I'm sure you've been.
Yeah.
It is fucking unbelievable what happened there after the pandemic.
It's been a while since I've been back.
The music scene there, obviously, it's Music City. And, I mean, everybody who's anybody, I should say, is there recording. I mean, the best in the world are there. And, the best session players, the recording studios. And now, slowly but surely, like even the film industry. You see so much happening there between there and Atlanta and in Florida.
Yeah, that's super sure. You're right. I see, because I watch all the breakdowns for like all the acting submissions. Like they'll go to my agency and my management and this, but like I refer to my agency and management as like backup. You know what I mean? Don't rely on any kind of representation because you should be in the field too and knowing what they're sending you out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm watching those emails and a lot of the stuff. Atlanta is the big one. They're doing Texas, but Nashville is like, all over the place with it. So
yeah, Nashville's so dope, man. It's such a great place to live and just
all my boys. Again, like I told you, my buddy Drake Bell. When he went to record his album, he was out in Nashville. Everybody's going to Nashville to record all their stuff. So yeah, it's a very common denominator in the scene, no matter what genre everybody's in.
Yeah, we were talking about Bad Omens and seeing them at Sonic Temple and just how great they were. And I mean, between them and like I Prevail, I mean, to me, it's like neck and neck who's the hottest band in the world right now as far as like, when you talk about, and I hate to even call those guys up and coming because I mean, they're pretty much at the top. I mean, you know what I mean? But, when I reference that, I mean like bands like Metallica, Rob Zombie, these bands that have been these legacy acts, you could say, right?
Coming to a dominance.
Yeah, but these artists that are in their prime, I guess that would be a great way to say it. These artists that are in their prime between I Prevail and Bad Omens, I mean, these guys are fucking just out there slaying it right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's funny. You say they've been in a long time. Like, I was just introduced to Bad Omens a couple years ago. I was telling you, from my buddy John Espy, the drummer of Red Jumpsuit. We were in some recording sessions, and he's like, a lot of our references is to Bad Omens moves and the way they use like their progressive metal and just sound bits. Everything they're doing it's a production, But the song I was listening to on the way here, I thought it was a new one when I was hearing it. And John comments on Instagram, was like, that was the Fire song. And I'm like, I look it up. It's from 2016. It's Glass Houses,
Right. Yeah.
It just sounded really dope. But I'm like newer into their era. But what I thought about before I pulled in here was like, even like all the years I've worked in bands and all the stuff I've done. And it's like, think about them, like 10 years until I found out who they were.
Right, yeah.
And it's like,
it takes forever. Yeah.
And it's like, what I always tell kids that I teach, and by kids it could be 20-something-year-olds, doesn't matter, like any students I teach, whether it's DJing or I have them under my wing with acting or producing or on set, I'm like, listen, dog, it takes 10 years to be good at anything. And that's what my mentors always told me. And right now, like, I can't beat myself up that I'm not auditioning 20 times a week like I used to be. I used to be in CSI's studio for CSI New York twice a week. I was in Aaron Sorkin's studio at Sony twice a month, which is big, to be with Aaron Sorkin, who wrote, all the shit. But like, you can't beat yourself up over it because they're just now seeing the 10 years of work that I did.
Right.
And then now is when you start to do the real shit, is like after 10 years of dedication to that craft. So did 10 years in metal, 10 years in the acting. And because of the acting being such a struggle, I started DJing because Hollywood's nightlife scene is just fucking fire before the pandemic. And so I was working, 3 shows a day sometimes. Like, I learned to DJ from being up there fucking up. Yeah. But playing with like Nelly. My first show was Nas's birthday, The Weeknd's birthday, and then Ray Shrimmer first came out to LA. And my next weekend was Wiz Khalifa and Snoop. So it's like, those were my first shows.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no, it's because Talon brings 100 girls to every show, that let's just put them on. And I'm like, I was the girl guy at that time. And that's what got you on stage.
Not a bad reputation.
Not a bad rep. I brought clients and girls. And then after 10 years of that, now it's like, okay, I learned from the field. I'm actually out here putting in live work. And the best way to learn, I know it's not like the best advice, but learning from your mistakes live, you'll never forget that shit. It's traumatizing.
So you're going to be playing back home where I'm from in South Florida, in West Palm Beach. Actually, on Clematis Street at E.R. Bradley's, which is, in West Palm, like the spot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You're right on the Intercoastal. You're looking over, the Breakers is right there. Just a beautiful place to play. What does your set look like when you play a place like that? Is it based on the crowd?
So that's the thing. It's like I'm going to go in and just... I'm really good at winging it. I'm just a crowd reader, just like you said. They'll give me like a basis. They'll come in and probably like for that place, I don't know. I've never been. Like when what I saw online, it might go a hip hop way. You know, because it's like they want me on a premiere night, but it's my first time in West Palm Beach, honestly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
West Palm's such a wild crowd too, because you get young, you get older, you know, everybody's down there, you know, you're divorcees.
Right.
Everybody. So you don't know who's going to be there on any given night. So that it's actually a great answer, because I was kind of curious about that. You know, if you go in, I love the fact that you feel out the crowd. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, know? I'm just gonna, and I make it dope. So I'll do like remix. It just depends. Like again, like if I see a younger and an older crowd, like see the thing is the older people too, they want to be with the younger crowd on things. And the younger people, they just go, I'm not going to go hard into their gangster whatever, you know what I mean? I keep it like kind of throwback gangster, you know what I mean? Sure. Like some big pun and then throwing a little Ashanti and then and then go into some new shit. So I'm just going to kind of jump around and feel them out, and then who knows, the owner might be like, go into some, you know, Afro house. And then because it's by the beach. So like the tour that I have coming up in a couple weeks is I'm going into London and then Paris, Cannes, and Saint-Tropez.
And this is you doing DJ stuff?
DJ.
Oh, that's sick, man.
Yeah, so I'm playing.
So what's Saint-Tropez like? That's got to be fun.
So I played last year for the first time.
Yeah.
And I say all this to say I'm referencing to the Afro house vibe. And Afro house is like the definition of Saint-Tropez and Cannes and like that southern France or like even Ibiza. Like Afro house is like, it's not house and it's not anything too heavy. It's just like you don't need to be on anything to enjoy it. It's kind of like a rosé. I'm on the beach chilling, just like it just keeps going, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Afro house I do is remixes to like, I just found a bunch of dope ones like Genuine Pony.
Yeah,
but
dude.
It's like just like cool ones that people are like, oh, what's that? And then there's another one that's like an Adele. So it's things that just people can reference it to a familiar song, but it's still a housey, beachy vibe.
Yeah. Now, do you play like rock sets?
Yeah. So
how common is that though?
It depends. I created my own emo night kind of tour. Now I got in some head to heads with there's like the official emo night guys. Emo night with the tomb thing and the thing. So they, you know, confronted me about having my own emo night, and I was like, look, listen, dude, you can't own like rock.
you can't own Fall Out Boy, bro. All right?
Yeah.
Pierce the Veil is not yours.
Dude, I was like a lot of these guys are my homies. A lot of these guys were my old roommates and shit. Like Travis from We the King. Me and this dude used to be back and forth. Like, I have too many stories that I'm just going to hold because he's a great father with a great family, and we'll keep it that way. I'm just kidding. No, we had a lot of good times over years in Hollywood, and I know a lot of these guys from tour and stuff. And so I'm obviously going to, as a DJ, playing many genres, have my own rock night. I'm a rock dude. Like, so mine was my own emo night. It was LA emo night, you know?
Okay.
And I've been all over with it. So I just kind of like.
Have you done it in Columbus or no?
I haven't done it in Columbus.
No,
not
you
yet.
Break that puppy out, bro.
I mean, it could be like the revival of the Talon Annihilator.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I need to.
Scully's or something, man. You know, that'd be a dope ass fucking night.
I mean, I'm a local.
Sure.
I think it could be.
I hope you blow it up. Let's do this.
Let's do that shit. Hell yeah! I didn't think. Last one I did was right before the pandemic, and my buddy that was co-producing it with me had a stroke, and he owned the venue we were doing it at, and it was like a tattoo piercing shop and apparel shop, and. Just unfortunate what happened. He's cool, you know, he's come back, but we kind of paused it for a minute.
Yeah,
and then
And that was here in Columbus?
No, that was all in LA on Melrose Ave. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I did another one in Florida too, and then I just kind of tap into my boys that have venues. You know, I think we did one in New York, but it hasn't been like a official tour. Like the emo night guys have like 70 dates, you know, and they're super hamming it. I just kind of like tapping in, like, if I see Bullets over here, I'll be like, yo, guys, I'm going to do one next to you. Can someone pop in? If Escape's over here, I'll be like, yo, guys, I'm next here. Who can pop in and just hop on the mic? If We the Kings, you know what I mean? Just to have, or I'll have them FaceTime on a big screen during some of the shows, and like you know that song Ashley from Escape? Yeah, so like Craig Mabbitt's on the thing, like, are there any Ashleys out there on this like video thing? And all the guys like, oh my God. So we do those things, and I'll throw out pics from my boys' bands to kind of make it like a special, like you're actually at a show. When
you're in West Palm, you got to walk up the street. It would be like west of Bradley's, but it's called Respectable Street.
Street?
Yeah, just like one of the most legendary venues down. Like the Chili Peppers played there back in like '88. I mean, yeah, like, you know, it's a who's who of like, you know, underground goth, emo, just alternative music in general,
Oh,
right?
badass.
But I mean, it's like one of the last true frontiers of like underground clubs, and yeah, just respectable street when you're there.
Well, I'm
Just-
going in. I'm flying in tomorrow. I'm flying in a day early just to go kind of scope the area.
So what is the actual date that you're playing Bradley's?
Thursday.
Okay, Thursday.
So
night.
I think it's
So that's the night. So Clematis by night.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. That's the big night down there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
I didn't-
Thursday and Saturday. I mean, it goes off. Friday gets kind of quiet, but you know.
That's yeah. I mean, I was like, I'm DJing in Cleveland on Friday and Saturday, so I'm out there tomorrow.
Now, where are you at in Cleveland?
It's not actually Cleveland. It's Akron. I say Cleveland
Oh, yeah,
because
okay,
my friends in LA have no idea. I'm like north of Columbus.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
like,
yeah.
My boys have a place called Town Tavern. You know Town Tavern?
I know I don't. No.
Yeah, so it's just like kind of just like a chill, like it's a restaurant lounge, and then like after 10 on weekends, it gets pretty wild.
Yeah, I've only been to Akron when I go up there to that amphitheater, which is God. What's the name of that place? Oh, it's gonna kill me. I gotta look it up real quick.
I've done a couple shows out there, but it's like I did there's a place called Score Draft Room I played at. You know Score?
No.
It's like 1,000 like crazy college kids that are just out of control and yelling the most random requests every 5 seconds. It's like a different genre, and I'm like, I can't.
Blossom Music Center. That's what I was trying
Blossom.
to think.
I've heard of Blossom.
So
I
it's
haven't
like
been
in the
there, though.
middle of a state forest, and it's built out of the trees from the state forest. So the acoustics are incredible.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I saw The Cure there.
Oh shit.
And I mean, it's amazing. And my boy Jelly Roll played up there. And
Oh, sick.
I mean, it's my favorite venue in Ohio. I mean, it's
shit.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you ever get a
I've heard
chance
of
to
it,
see
but
a
I've
show.
never seen it. So it's like hidden in the woods.
Yeah, it's like it's in the gist of like the big shed shows,
Yeah.
but like, it's not one of those sheds. It's like an actual amphitheater built out of the wood from the fucking forest that it's in. So you get that true acoustic sound, and just the drive up there is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The traffic kind of gets a little insane, but like once you get up there, you're like, oh yes.
Yeah, I do the drive up there. I'm out there probably when I'm home like 4 times a month. So
Okay.
I'm back and forth a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're on the road all the time.
Yeah, it's nonstop. And then
Do you get antsy like when you get home after being out and touring so much?
I love being home.
Yeah.
No, it's because like I already know I have like most of the year pretty. Like there's a lot. Like I like being back with my son. Like we have like a lot of fun together and just doing like little stuff, and it helps build me as an artist. Just to be like, okay, I've always been by myself, so like to have something that is like backing you up at home. Is,
kids are the best. Man.
Yeah, it's like something that you didn't even expect, but it's cool. And when I come home, it's kind of like my like recharge from the road, because the road is rough, man. It's like just being like out with at Coachella, and my boy Leon, and like people they'll recognize you from like Nickelodeon stuff, or it could be some random, like I was on Fear Factor with Drake Bell. We were on Celebrity Fear, just like something random. And I just don't want to talk about that shit sometimes. You know? I'm just like,
were you on when Rogan was hosting, or was it Ludacris?
Yeah, I was at Luda.
that was the reboot.
And it's funny because I did it. I was playing in Cannes last year for the same festival that's about to come up in south of France. And Luda, I did a show with Luda. I opened up for him, and we were on the blue carpet, not the red carpet, together. And we got our arm around each other, and I'm like, bro, you and I, we were on Fear Factor together. He's like, you're the second influencer to tell me that today. And I was like, for real? He's like, he grabbed me. He's like, I do remember this. Because like I was in the ring with me and Drake Bell and 2 ostriches, okay? In a freaking, like a pig pit ring, right? And like we're chasing these ostriches.
What'd you have to do? Like rope them or something?
Well, they had baskets on their back, and we had to grab flags out of the baskets and put all of them on the Velcro at the bottom of Luda's feet. Luda's sitting up on this pedestal above the ring, and he's like, all right, you got 30 seconds, and we have to run up to the ostriches and try not to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How much weed are you smoking when you come up with this idea? Not you
right?
personally, but the
I
producers.
was like, I wish I was on some weed. I mean, Luda had to been in on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
no
like,
doubt.
and that was a funny day because they had a limo pick us up from our house. They picked Drake up, and they go to my house, right?
Uh-huh.
And I DJ'd a show the night before. I was lit, like bad lit. Like I don't even remember that night, And I was young. I was like 21. This is like a long time ago. And they had to leave me. So they left me in West Hollywood and drove 2.5 hours out to this Fear Factor location. And I woke up like, oh shit. And he's like, Talon, like, and Drake's messaging me like, dude, I'm gonna kill you, man. Like, I can't believe you're leaving me solo. There's all these other like celebrity teams, and I'm by myself. I literally woke up and I was like, yo, I'm getting an Uber right now. I Ubered out to the middle of the desert, like 2 hours, and made it 10 minutes before our interview and walked right in the ring. Like, I was hurting. I had to do a couple of shots on the way, but I had a bottle with me. I was like, look, I'm going to be there, play. I'm going to be rough, but I'm going to be there. And we did the whole thing. And I actually won. We lost. We were the first ones kicked out. But I won. Like, I did everything I was supposed to. Drake dropped 2 of the flags. He was the only one that dropped them.
Oh, wow.
I was like, and I'm the hungover one? Come on, bro. Like,
yeah, man, I love Hollywood, man. It's like we were talking earlier, it's a shame that there's so much that like this exodus that's happening because, places like the Rainbow and the Roxy, I mean, it's just these legendary places. And
Viper.
Yeah.
My favorite. I played at Viper a few times, and it's just like, it holds a special place, and a lot of these places are getting shut down because the scene in LA is not there anymore.
It's just not there, right?
It died during the pandemic.
Because I was there, I spent the summer before last out there, and I was there for...
Did you notice shit closed at like 10?
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, Hollywood, when I moved there in 2009, the 10 years that... I mean, I was there 15 years. The 10 years that we started was the time to be there. That was like the Entourage time.
Right,
that was right when Entourage was still filming.
Yeah, dude.
My roommate was on Entourage. Like, and I'm like, okay, so this is the time you want to be here. It was like being in Vegas, but a business Vegas. Like,
right.
And now it's like, I feel like I'm in like Park City or some shit.
Right.
Actually, Park City's probably more popping.
Park City's pretty dope, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I lived in Salt Lake for a couple of years. And
I've done Sundance Film Festival for like...
Have you?
For like 10 years,
yeah,
man.
Park City's so fun.
It gets lit.
Yeah,
it's a different type of fun, but it still closes
for
early.
For that week, 2 weeks, I mean, it is off the chain.
I'm telling you, it's LA meets Vegas on ice.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's just like all the Wild Vegas party with all the LA business, and everybody's on this little two street mountain town. But
so you said you played Coachella, huh?
Yeah. So this was my first. Actually, I played all of the show, like all the activations around Coachella for the past decade and a half. But this year is my first time playing in the actual festival. So
what was that like?
It was crazy awesome. It was dope because it was actually my second time actually going in because I'm usually just doing the shows around it. And my uncle was there, my big bro was there, and like all of their friends were there, and they just happened to be there when I was just like kind of on ice for a couple shows if they had the slots to open because I don't know, some of the stages were kind of all over the place. And they called me like while I just walked into the show, and we actually had a camping area, and they're like, "Can you get your equipment over to this stage in like 30 minutes?" Bro, it takes an hour by cart to get to one in this. It makes Sonic Temple.
Oh, I've heard it's the worst place to get in and out of ever. Yeah.
Like, I mean, the cart lines just for like VIP, if you're an artist, there's so many artists. There's hundreds of artists. So the carts are just lined up. It takes hours.
Because there's nothing at Coachella like throughout the year besides the festival.
It's that, and it's the Coachella back-to-back, and then there's Stagecoach, and then there's
EDC
in Vegas. But that's
right.
So basically, we all just started sprinting through the festival to get. It's gonna be faster on foot. But yeah, I made it to 2 different shows that I did, and
that's dope.
It was, I mean, it was just packed, and it was like no matter what, if you're playing Coachella, like you're in, like you did it as far as like
right
because you don't. It's not like everybody's there to watch every artist, So
I wish they would do more rock.
Yeah, I haven't really. I mean, that's the thing is,
and like hard rock. I would just love for them like to book like Bad Omens or something.
Yeah,
something dope like
that. That would be like the salt
little
and
spice.
A little spice. Because for me, I'm again like I come from hardcore metal, grew up as a metalhead. Don't have a problem with EDM in house. I'm learning more about it.
Yeah.
And so just being over in Europe more and being on these tours with these guys, I'm learning more the value of especially Afro House. Like now that I play Afro House on the reggae, like I'm getting booked in places that like I never thought I'd be playing. I'm the official DJ for TikTok, doing their activations and like a bunch of stuff, and it's all because I play like this neutral Afro House. Sometimes you gotta play with, what's popping for these I don't know, for whatever the companies or the events want. Of course I want to do some other stuff, but it could be metal or something, but I can't really play. I got to play what the clients want. So
that's cool, man. So so you're on the road, and then when you get back here stateside.
I'm back. Fly in. So yeah, we got Cannes the 13th until the 19th, and Saint-Tropez 19th through 23rd. Fly from Nice to New York on the 23rd, and then I'm actually going with my family straight to St. Louis. We're going to my grandfather passed away this past Thanksgiving, and like his favorite team is St. Louis Cardinals. So every year, leading up to when he just passed away, we've been getting a St. Louis Cardinal box for him to go up and experience. He's 97 years old when he passed away, a World War II vet and all that. Wow. So we wanted to make sure he had that great experience, and so we're kind of continuing it this year, and it's on that day.
Next year you should do West Palm for spring training because they spring train in West Palm.
I did not know
Cardinals.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. They got a beautiful stadium they built up.
That would be by default, I grew up
Palm
as a
Beach,
Cardinals fan.
way sexier than St. Louis.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Honestly, I reached out to some of the West Palm venues just to be like, sometimes you got to create. Not sometimes, you always have to create your own reality. So I'm just like, I want this year my family to be by the beach.
Yeah.
And not the Cali beach, the East Beach.
Oh yeah, we have the best beach.
Yeah, trust me.
East coast of Florida.
Yeah, Cali Beach is just rough, bro.
Yeah, everything from Sebastian south is beautiful because that's where the Gulf Stream is.
Okay,
so so you get the tropical waters down there.
It was wild as I was trying to pick before I reached out to one side, and I was like, am I going to hit up people in St. Pete or am I going to hit up people in West Palm? And I could have gone either way, but my boy just told me there was an overflux of DJs on that side, the St. Pete side. And so I tapped into West Palm. But while I was looking into St. Pete, I was like, the Gulf is really called the Gulf of the United States. That shit is wild.
Trump did it. I mean,
I thought it was like, no, he really changed it. It's like officially.
Dude, he's got hats that say it. The guy's out of control.
I know. I was like, this is crazy. Like, he really did. I mean, it's just nuts. People just doing shit.
Yeah, just doing shit. Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, did they really change that on the map?
Yeah, Lauderdale goes off.
Yeah,
but there's also a lot of places on the island. Actually, back in the day, like when I was in high school, man, like E.R. Bradley's was on the island.
Okay.
And so it was this tiny little place in Palm Beach. And
is it only one place, or they have multiple E.R. Bradleys?
No, just the one. Yeah. Now it's huge. I mean, it's a big, a nice sized restaurant venue. The whole. They
have on the flyer. They're like, it says I'm playing on the main deck. So it must be another deck.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and there's inside and outside. Yeah. But the original Bradley's was so small, bro. And I remember I had a fake ID. And I would go over there and everything, and I had to, be careful because my buddy had a pickup truck, and on the island, that's a no-go after dark.
What, not driving the pickup truck?
Oof, not a chance.
Why is that?
Because people on the island are super stuffy. What are you doing? Are you a thief? You know what I mean?
Okay,
that whole vibe, right?
I get it.
Because if you're driving a pickup truck, you're probably a worker. What are you doing over here at night?
Right.
So you always had to be real careful.
And why?
And then they
you
moved
could just drive over the bridge.
Just drive over the intercoastal. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then
Well, I have the whole day before to kind of explore. I think I'm gonna rent a car and try to I don't know.
I'll give you some spots.
Yeah,
man.
give me some spots.
Yeah,
I'm literally gonna be solo, just trying to I'm just bringing my backpack and my laptop and changing boxers basically.
And then then we'll collab on an emo night here in Columbus. I mean, and we'll get it all worked out.
Yeah, I really want to do an emo night and so my boy, who I told you, John Espy from Red Jumpsuit. When I came here from, I think he might have came right before me. He's living up in Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the guy. We both have 2-year-olds. We had kids at almost the same time.
Yeah.
And we're homies, longtime homies from LA. We actually worked on Disney together. I got him on a Disney show. And now he's in Ohio randomly. He's not from Ohio.
Cleveland's it goes hard, man. The nightlife up there is really fun.
Yeah, I never really tapped in.
Yeah, down, I think it's called 4th Street. They have all these bars.
I know about the Flats. I've heard of the Flats.
Yeah, the Flats too. Yeah. So I usually stay at this place called the Arcade.
Okay.
And so you can walk literally from the hotel. It was these indoor malls that they built back in the early, I want to say 1900s, maybe late 1800s.
Like Tuttle Mall?
Well, I mean, these are the original versions of those.
Okay, so more like bricky or something?
Yeah, well, like steel and, inside. And I mean, it's just this really cool vibe, right?
Nice.
And so now it's a hotel, and they have some stores in there, but
Arcade?
they're not real stores. They call them arcades, but it's not what you and I would think of as an arcade.
They got games
right?
there?
No, so it's just a really cool old school mall. I'll show you some pictures when we're off the air, but
cool.
You can walk from there straight up this 4th Street, right to the arena. Me and my boy Matt Brown, we went up there to see Slipknot a couple of years ago.
Sick.
And it was the best because you could just walk. They have a comedy club. I mean,
You didn't have to deal with driving around.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah, Cleveland, very walkable. They have the casinos downtown. And that's what is kind of unfortunate here in Columbus that they didn't do was, they were supposed to have the casino not on the west side, but actually downtown in the Arena District.
I don't know.
Which would have been
never been to the casino.
Oh, the casino here is actually really good, but it sucks because of the location. If they would have put it downtown, you could have walked out of a Blue Jackets game or out of any concert or out of a Crew game and been out of Promo West, and you're right there.
See, that would have been more like that's. If it was down here, I probably would have been to it by now. But yeah. I'm not out here seeking anything.
Right.
I get all that on the road. I'm like, when I come home, I'm like a little church going, like just dad,
licking your wounds.
Literally, like I tell her, I'm like, look, I'm on the couch for a couple of days. But when I'm out, that's what I was saying earlier is like, and the boys know it too, just being back at Sonic Temple and like I was on the bus for like half the day with Bullet and the other half with Escape. And it's like, once we walk out, it's just like, you're on like a marathon,
Yeah,
and it's just,
right.
And it's like, that's just with them. Like doing my own thing and then trying to build tours while you're on tour. It's just exhausting, and then I'm not doing my cleanse and my vitamins like I normally, I do some, but
yeah.
And then you're keeping up with other people trying to make sense of studio time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to be on the same page with them, Sometimes they might want to have a drink at 7 a.m. and you're like, all right, I guess we'll do that, and it's just like, but they're also helping you get production done. So it's rough. So sometimes you got to just rehabilitate when you're back at the homestead.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, man, and want to follow you, where do they go?
Just at Talon Reid, TalonReid, and that is my handle for literally everything.
I love it, man.
Talon Reid.
Dude, thanks for doing this with me
Appreciate
today.
you, brother.
Hey, you guys, thanks for doing this with me each and every week. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and guys, we're back next week with a brand new show. Thanks so much. Happy Memorial Day. Cool, man. That was great.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, that was great.